All right, I think we had enough of the intro video today. Thank you guys for joining another episode. It is dark outside. It is time for Crypto After Dark, brought to you guys by Constant Collab. Please follow us on Instagram, Telegram, Twitter. All those details are in the video description, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys so much for joining. So it's dark outside, time for another episode of Crypto After Dark. Tonight we're going to be talking about VeChain. I think one of the more popular blockchain ledger systems or proof of authority systems to hit the marketplace. It's attracted a lot of corporate partnerships and interests. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight, and certainly has been a good return if you were able to invest on VeChain the first couple of years of its existence, and we'll look at that as we start off with the charts tonight. So we'll go ahead and dive into some charts here. I'm looking at my trading view account. I got logged out for some reason, and all my dark themes went away. So got a little sidetracked today and didn't redo my themes, but it looks a little bit different. So we'll start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, 59,400 right now. Braulio talked about how Bitcoin is seeing a little bit of a decline over the last couple of trading sessions, And I guess there's a little bit of a secondary trend here. Again, I apologize. Let me change this setting here back to white for now, so that's a little bit easier to see. So yeah, we have this secondary trend. I guess it seems to be hanging on to. I didn't like it as much, so I wasn't using it. But you can see it's kind of holding that right here, and that was to be expected. At least, I agree with Braulio's sentiment earlier about this being somewhat technical in nature. I agree with that to an extent. Take a look at Litecoin right now. I have a pretty good long positioned open on Litecoin based off of this bounce. I'd like to get the bounce. We'll see if that happens, but you can see Litecoin is playing off of some of this level here around the mid 220s. But tonight, again, we're talking about VeChain. So VeChain has, from its days of inception here, we'll go down to the daily and further. A lot of us were buying VeChain from Constant Collab underneath this penny range down here. So if you were buying down here, excellent job. I think these are the days when we knew that VeChain was going to be partnered with Walmart China and PwC, but we didn't really have too many details on it at the time. But sometimes you need to just invest in those partnerships, have a little bit of faith in them, believe that they're going to work out. And that's certainly what we did. So VeChain has seen a good price appreciation depending on what your average is. Under a penny, you could see anywhere from 10 to 33,000x and beyond. So shout out there. And then VeThor is the smart contract utility vehicle behind VeChain, and we'll talk about some of the mathematics and things of that nature behind VeThor's calculations as well. So in general, and recently especially, VeThor's price has really dwindled. I think a lot of us were expecting it to maintain its sort of one tenth of a VeChain type price, but it hasn't really maintained that level yet. And so we'll see, there's certainly some downside room here for VeThor based on this formation, but it also does have this level of support kind of running through the middle depending on what your levels are. So we'll see what happens with VeThor. But without further ado, now that we've looked at the charts for a few moments here, let's go ahead and dive right in. So this is a graphic I pulled up to start on the VeChainThor Ecosystem. So starting here in the middle, you can see here this was updated in June of 2021. Some of the partners that are ecosystem partners, pretty impressive, right? So some of the familiar ones we know: BitTrue, Crypto.com, PwC, one of my favorites to see here, right? So an ecosystem partner. We'll talk about what that means in an article that I have up here in a moment. But just to go through some of the different segments they have outlined here: community builders and SMEs. Some names you may recognize, some you may not. Research partners, MIT right here, Harvard, Dartmouth, some Chinese universities here as well. And enterprises and dApps on VeChain. Third-party professionals. So here we go. PwC again. Grant Thornton, we also know in America, and Deloitte. Deloitte, also another big name that you like to see here. So these are here. Carbon and sustainability. Maybe you shop at H&M. H&M's looking to utilize VeChain's blockchain technology to prove that carbon and sustainability footprint. I know H&M sort of prides itself on their sustainable footprint, and VeChain sort of does as well. So a good partnership to be had there. Retail, Sam's Club and Walmart China, two big names that we've really been following as part of VeChain's adoption and across the marketplace. Logistics, DHL, you may know of. Energy and manufacturing. So this is I can't see it. This is a Chinese energy company that featured VeChain recently in one of their conferences, and we'll talk about them a little bit as well. Medical. So here's Bayer right here. That's huge. Automobiles. We have BMW, Renault here, and then some Chinese lines here, as well as tourisms and hotels. So really great partnerships here, a really great look at some of these partnerships, and I think these graphics are really helpful for early investors to say, okay, maybe we don't know everything about the project yet, or maybe we don't know this or that, etc., but I can say that they do have great partnerships from corporations and etc. that are doing well and are interested in blockchain technology. So this graphic's very helpful. We can drop a link. This link has been dropped in our Constant Collab Telegram group chat, so you're interested in getting this, you can grab it there. You can just research here this VeChainThor ecosystem to see this graphic. Google Images. So moving on here, right here's VeChain's website. VeChainThor, the public blockchain that derives its value from activities created by members within the ecosystem, solving real-world economic problems. So they love this. They love to say, hey, we're not just, I think in one of my previous episodes on NFTs or possibly one of those segments, we talked about some of the language in their white papers, and they talked about how they aimed to solve or had all these aspiring type verbiage and sentiment inside of their white papers. And I like this because it's already said created by members within the ecosystem solving real world economic problems. You already have that better feeling before you even get here, right? So there's some resources here available for you about VeChain, some wallet information here. Proof of authority, we're going to talk about that in a second here. Proof of authority is VeChain's concept for their masternodes. And so here you go. Proof of authority addresses enterprise common concerns of inefficient upgrade and waste of energy. So low computation power required to achieve the network security and consensus integrity, controlled via the built-in smart contract hard forks, can be avoided in case authority masternodes fail to upgrade, and then all authority masternode operator identities are strictly verified by the foundation. So they have 101 authority masternodes now, a governance model that you can check out, and an economic model, and so tons of information about VeChain and a lot of transparency with the VeChain. So you can look all these folks up on LinkedIn and check out their advisory board. There's a lot of great backing and energy behind VeChain with real world promise, just like some of those excerpts from that website were saying. Sorry. So a quick introduction from the VeChain docs here, and I'll let you guys go through this, on your own time here. But there's also this transaction model, which goes through the intrinsic gas calculation for VeThor, and sort of explains their proof of work concept down through some of this serious algebra here, if you're interested, or calculus if you're interested in some of that. So you can take a look at that here, but back to the introduction. It's a public blockchain that is designed for mass adoption of blockchain technology by enterprise users of all sizes. VeChainThor is intended to serve as a foundation for a sustainable and scalable enterprise blockchain ecosystem, supported in part by our novel governance and economic models and unique protocol enhancements. Okay, so pay attention here because we've talked about this on other shows as well. Ethereum has represented the state-of-the-art in blockchain since 2014. This cell says good things about Ethereum. Despite being a major technological milestone, Ethereum has proven to be unsuitable for hosting large-scale commercial dApps or decentralized applications. One of the main reasons for this is that there hasn't been an effective governance structure set up on the from Ethereum's very beginning that will allow for efficient and transparent transitions and upgrades of the protocol to adapt to new challenges or innovations. And we've seen that with extremely high gas fees and some of the other things that we've warned about as we've discussed on this channel. So, we've got those high gas fees. We've got stuff going on there that are prohibiting Ethereum from being, that major player that we've discussed. So, VeChain goes out of the way to talk about that here. It goes over its meta transaction features, proof of authority, its governance and economic models here. So you can read more about all of these different aspects of VeChain and its transaction model. So if you're into the code and those different things, you can read all about VeChain here. And again, we're going to move forward on this, but we'll talk about how this is being incorporated across the corporate marketplace. So just wanted to go over this article really quickly next. So recently, as in today, is today the 16th? Yes, it is. So this was released, I think, somewhere in the Eastern Hemisphere because this was out this morning when I woke up. But a revolutionary protocol, Proof of Authority 2.0, world's greenest consensus to drive sustainable mass adoption. So they're going hardcore at the mining and the Ethereum gas fees and everything that's inefficient. And this article goes through and talks about VeChain's latest here. So I'll just go ahead and read a little bit here. After months of hard work and effort, the arrival of block number 106.53.500 on the VeChainThor mainnet officially marks the upgrade to POA 2.0 Phase 1 and the first steps towards the full form of our revolutionary protocol upgrade. With multiple years of enterprise delivery under its belt, VeChain has established itself as the go-to for major corporations looking to adopt public blockchain. Huge. With this experience in tow, we have taken on an even greater mission, enabling true sustainability, circular economics, carbon reduction emissions, incentivized ecosystems, and more. Such applications have been the dream of visionaries for decades. However, the technology required to underpin this transition to a sustainable global society has been lacking. Public blockchain, when combined with the data quality assurance capabilities of major players like DNV, create the necessary environment to automate and provide trust for such processes, removing the middleman and eliminating fraudulent data. So this goes through and talks about Peter Zhao and Dr. Ziji Ren, a blockchain researcher at VeChain, publishing the paper print titled Surface, a practical blockchain consensus algorithm for real-world networks. The paper introduced the concept of next-generation proof of authority, hereafter referred to as POA 2.0 Surface, the consensus algorithm for blockchain networks. And so this kind of goes through all of the changes, what all of the features for POA 2.0, and VeChain has been all over the place talking about this and getting their blockchain going. So just to go over this too, a VRF-based source of randomness. So VRF means a verifiable random function, and it essentially means the public key version of a keyed cryptographic hash. So they're using this VRF-based source of randomness here, and then this committee-based block producing process to perform their POA 2.0 processes, and this is sort of how their roadmap works. So they're on step 1 here, and then they'll get to step 4 eventually after going through these, step 5, after going through these various steps. So exciting news for VeChain as they progress their blockchain network even further. So here's some other news about it. The foundation announced this today. So this article sort of goes over POA 2.0. So despite the pressure of COVID-19, we made tangible progress towards ecosystem growth, including a major consensus upgrade of POA 2.0 and national level innovations on sustainable development goals. During this time, we have also been actively searching for candidates that share the vision of creating a sustainable distributed business ecosystem on top of the VeChainThor Blockchain while representing the various stakeholders in the ecosystem. In pursuit of this agenda, the VeChain Foundation officially announced the commencement of the second term of SC elections. So, big news today. This has been sort of everywhere today. I thought this would be a great day to talk about VeChain. And you can read more about the VeChain Foundation and other things that they've been supporting in various places. But just wanted to bring that up as well. So next we're going to talk about AirTrace. So AirTrace, building greater supply chains to protect and empower brands, businesses, and consumers. So I just want to be very clear here that AirTrace is the nickname for PwC's blockchain technology that is using VeChain, VeChainThor Blockchain. It's using that blockchain, and so anytime one of PwC's customers is being introduced to the blockchain, they're going to be shown this concept. They're going to be shown this AirTrace concept. PwC's AirTrace integrates supply chain data in a trusted blockchain ecosystem. Data is integrated from multiple sources to provide greater granularity and product traceability with flexibility to accommodate existing business practices. Brands, businesses, and consumers gain transparency into product origin and movements with confidence in the shared data. So AirTrace, suitable for brand owners and manufacturers, a consortium of industry players. So I worked with VeChain, PwC a lot when I was in corporate finance. I've kind of shifted away from the corporate finance side and some of my current roles. But I think PwC has great clients. I think their clients are interested in blockchain. Wish there was more information on AirTrace here. Download this introduction to PwC's AirTrace. So, 48% consumer-focused companies who have experienced asset misappropriation or fraud. 68% of consumers willing to pay a premium for trace products with demonstrated origin and journey. So the demand is here, and I've seen some of the VeChain's like a QR code, right? You take a picture of it, like, you go to H&M one day and you take a picture of the QR code on your T-shirt, and it's basically going to tell you where the materials and everything about the T-shirt, where it comes from, and everything like that. So that's pretty cool. So I guess this is what they're showing as like a little white paper here to their clients, right? Benefits: quality and product, safety, transport, transparency, configurability, consumer trust, brand equity. So you can look, they're going through the QR code route here, and here's some of the features. So this is huge for me. This is one of the bigger sleeper stories here, because PwC is not going to be like, hey, we just signed another Fortune 100 company to do blockchain. They're going to protect the privacy of their customers, and if their customers want to talk about that in their own 10Q and their 10K, they can, and at their own discretion and things of that nature. But I don't think we're going to be privy to every customer's like, yeah, saw AirTrace, love the technology, etc. Right? That's not how it's going to work here. And so, trusting in PwC's ability to get, they have an interest to gain customers and bill hours. And so if they can bill hours implementing AirTrace at their clients' sites, PwC wins, clients win, and VeChain wins certainly. So really cool to think about, and I encourage you all to look more into PwC and VeChain's partnerships as it continues to grow. So here's another article I wanted to bring up. VeChain invited by Shanghai Minhang government to discuss its products' use cases. So recently there was the CIEIE, the China International Import Expo, which is a side event hosted by the Investment Institute of the Shanghai Minhang government, and VeChain Foundation was invited to this by the government. VeChain was invited to this by the government. So that's all I'm going to say there. That's not financial advice by any means, but VeChain was invited to this by this local government, as reported by the foundation's official Twitter handle. According to the report, VeChain Foundation was represented by its CMO, was able to share live use cases of VeChainThor's blockchain's products and utility embedded in AirTrace, which is jointly built with PwC. So they're like, hey, we're working with PwC. We got AirTrace. Check this out. I mean, this is big. I love the government partnerships. I love this little technical analysis here at the end. Continue the ascent. Target 24.9. When was this? November 8th. Well, we had a little bit of a pullback, but that's okay. But again, this is huge. These are huge partnerships. These are things you should be considering. I think this is a big deal. I think partnerships are a big deal. I think it's the core of why we invest. You can read all the FUD you want, but if there's good partners, there's a good future ahead. And I believe that with governments for sure. And then, PwC is great as well. And so the last sort of event I'm going to talk about, a little bit of a shorter stream tonight, and I could talk about VeChain for hours. But they also recently, looks like 3 weeks ago, spoke at the 2021 Schneider Electric Green Innovation Summit. So this is Schneider right here. I couldn't read it. I thought it was, at least. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Anyway, I also went to Schneider's website and tried to find Jay Chang on there as one of their so here's that of Innovation Summit website, and I couldn't find Jay Chang. Yeah, they didn't really want to talk about it here. Anyway. So at this summit, very carefully here, let's dive into this. The panel on the driving force behind Lighthouse factories. So I was like, okay, let's look up Lighthouse factories. Who's talking about Lighthouse factories? The World Economic Forum. And I got to tell you what, I don't like those guys. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that on YouTube, but they're talking about it, so it's probably going to happen. These 10 new Lighthouse factories show the future of manufacturing is here. So again, Lighthouse factories, World Economic Forum. Yes, we agree. Future Lighthouse factories. Absolutely. Please. So you got to be thinking here okay, Lighthouse factories are a big deal. VeChain's involved in is going to be the driving force behind Lighthouse factories, enables transformative change and responsible manufacturing in the circular economy. So what are Lighthouse factories? But ultimately, lighthouses, as they lead the great reset among industrials, are likely to helping shape and realize a stronger, more resilient, and inclusive future in which creative entrepreneurship and technological innovation can benefit private enterprise and society at large, along with the natural environment. So here's the top 10 lighthouses. Where does it go over? Lighthouse. The 54 lighthouses, the world's most advanced factories, which are leading the way in the adoption of the fourth industrial revolution technologies. So it's it's all right here. We've laid this out over and over. This is the fourth industrial revolution. You put enough pieces together here. Lighthouse factories with VeChain, fourth industrial revolution. It's happening. You can read through all of these different. Here, let's just watch this video for a second.
The fourth industrial revolution technology is really changing the game.
There will be a fundamental shift in what consumers want and need.
They want it faster, they want it customized, they want it personalized.
So all of your value chain has to be designed accordingly.
Almost all companies are doing something around digital and analytics, but many of them have not really found a way to scale.
Companies are stuck in what we defined as the pilot purgatory.
They are trying thousand flower blooms approaches and are not very focused on how they are really creating early business impact.
For the very first time, advanced manufacturing technologies are helping companies transform the value chains end to end and develop new business models. Lighthouses are the most advanced factories in the world, so are points of lights for the broader community of manufacturers.
We define by 3W. One is a work reduction, how to be leaner, and one is a waste reduction, how to be greener, and worry reduction, how to become worry-free.
We are changing almost all of our product definition, configuration management, ERP system to be faster. That's the thing.
They are hyper-connected, which allows them to have all the
Yeah, so that's the first half of this video. You can watch the rest of it on your own. But essentially, these lighthouse factories are being deemed by the World Economic Forum, who can pretty much deem whatever they want. But to say, hey, like, these are the best. What's up, Dan? How you doing tonight, man? These are the best factories in the world, right? Like, these are the best ones. And this, you know, VeChain talking about these lighthouse factories, and having, you know, this being mentioned with this in conjunction with this is certainly really promising for VeChain, right? And it's why we invested in VeChain. You know, certainly it's not advice, and encourage you to do your own research on VeChain. But yeah, this is certainly why, you know, one of the big reasons, right? This and very many, right? Airtrace, PwC. I didn't even have any articles about Walmart China tonight, but those partnerships are huge, and certainly think that some of the NDA and some of the privacy of and the nature of the relationships that that VeChain has with both its customers directly and indirectly through PwC creates a challenge. So you know, we're trying to dig up as much as we can. We'll share as much as we can about VeChain. If you find anything about VeChain before us, please tell us. We'd love to know about it. You know, follow us on Instagram, get in our Telegram chat, follow us on Twitter. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if you disagree. And yeah, Dan, thanks. Appreciate that. This has been our 9th episode of Crypto After Dark, and we're still doing the lunch hour every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends as well. And I think Braulio and I are interested in starting a Sunday show where we go over explicitly on charts and look at some of the technical indicators that may or may not. You know, I think we're all in a belief that things are designed to happen, and then some of the headlines come afterwards. But anyway, it's good to know what the charts could be forecasting. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But that's going to be it for tonight's show. Thank you all for joining tonight, and I hope you've enjoyed this show on VeChain. I think this video will hopefully age really well. So please do smash that subscribe and like button, and we'll catch you next time on Crypto After Dark. Take care.
devices